So check it. I just had the craziest download out of nowhere. It's about the ones we call the elites. So check it. I explained to y'all several times what Israel actually means. IS is for Isis, who is Venus. RA is Ra, who is Mars. And the L represents God El and the Elohim. So Venus is also known as Lilith, Inanna, Ishtar, Mary Magdalene, or Queen Elizabeth. Why do y'all think everybody subconsciously know about her? That's real power. I mean, ask yourself, why is she the queen and ruling Commonwealth realms? I mean, just think about it. Why are they specifically using that word realm? Also note her name, Alexandra, because she's a descendant of Alexander, who is Mars, and Mary because she is Mary Magdalene. Also note these dates. They all correlate to the world wars, which is a war of different worlds, which is basically the 20th century. As y'all can see, they counted from the early 1900s to the 2000s. Keep that in mind. So back to this, to keep it simple, they replaced the word realm with the word state. And obviously Charles is the head of state. He is Jupiter. You may know him as Enlil, Zeus, Nimrod, or King George. As y'all can see, it's literally in his name. But most importantly, he is Baal. He created the Baal in order to control the states by releasing you away from God, the true God, that is.
So now we have Ra, who is Mars. You may know it, Archangel Michael, Enoch, Marduk, Ra, Azazel, Noah, Apollo, Massa, or Alexander. And I believe this is currently Elon. So he's the second creation of the underworld. He's a golden, magical fire dragon. Behind the first, who is Neptune, who y'all know as Adam mainly, or Yahweh, which is a magical water dragon. So what Mars does, since he basically created everything else after this, he keeps the other reptile races in check, such as Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus. Now God El, who you know as Jacob or Yakub, he created underworld because he created the first creation, which is Neptune. As I just mentioned, that is who y'all call Yahweh.
This is why he has 13 stars on his forehead, because it represents the 13 tribes. Also doubles as the Seal of Solomon, who is Saturn, and the Star of David, who is Neptune. So God El and the Greys join forces with the Palladians. I will mention they all not bad, they're just like us. They can choose. And also the reptiles to take over mankind. So those three races and their creations is called the Elohim. You may also know as Anunnaki or the Galactic Federation. Within these large groups, you have the Israelites from those 13 tribes of Israel that's on his forehead. This is the same Israel they are talking about on the news. Do not be fooled. Why do you think the United Nations have to step in? They are above Israel's covens because that's Uranus and Neptune. So I want y'all to just look at this word and you will see how it's been in your face the whole time. These are different tribes of Israel that are running different realms together as a collective to keep the real Egyptians and the tribe of Judah out of power, which are the quote-unquote black Americans in America. Now, can you see how everything's been set up and how we've been conned out of everything and genocided on every level? And businesses had a lot to do with this and the people running them.
As I showed y'all before, they enslaved us with the Federal Reserve System and the corporations that is Israel. They enslaved us by becoming a third party instead of us directly getting what we own. Because in all reality, we are the church, but they hold everything in their church. Those are the real banks. These are transfer agents. They are fake banks working together with the Federal Reserve System, giving us debit instead of credit. Again, by using universal laws with contracts that we do not know about.
I ain't never want to do this for safety reasons, but I guess it's time to go ahead and show y'all the difference between the real Egyptian gods and the tribe of Judah. We look alike, but we have different physical features. Egyptians doesn't have much facial hair. For instance, like me, my little mustache ain't grow till about 23, 24. And my baby beard ain't grow till about 25, 26. And also, ain't got none of this, no matter what, really. Also, barely have any body hair. Also, a smaller body frame. And always looks much younger than everyone their age because their body regenerates faster. The tribe of Judah has more facial hair. I'm talking about like the big old afros, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't look nothing like me at all. Also body hair, like such a chest hair, so on and so forth. And different sized bodies. A lot of time, dye doesn't matter, such as also with the Egyptians. We're always smaller, almost no matter what we eat. But if you start paying attention, you will start to clearly see the differences of the people I'm talking about.
So for a quick recap, all the original gods and original humans are the Egyptians, all of them on this left side, and we're currently in the fourth world right here, right? And we've been through 3 resets already. So back in the third world, that's when the war in heaven happened because Saturn, who y'all call Satan, is the first reptilian, half man and half dragon. That is how he's able to mix with the image of man. Because technically he's a part of mankind. I always tell y'all that wasn't supposed to happen because as y'all can see what happened afterwards when he started doing that. But this is when they created Israelites. As I just explained to y'all much earlier, Israelites. So what they're doing is enslaving everyone in his bloodline from the left-hand side, which will be freed in the fifth generation after this reset coming. But they are also enslaving one of their own tribes, which is Judah, because they are the closest image to man, meaning they're supposed to reign over all of the other 12 tribes. And that tribe is the same tribe that Jesus was in. That's why he was crucified. And just look at the quote-unquote black Americans today.
What's the difference between Egyptians and Israelites? The Egyptians were polytheistic, meaning the belief of more than one God. Like I be telling y'all, there is one creator, there is the one. But like I said, there's pieces of that God in images. And the Israelites was monotheistic, believing in one God, that jealous God. Also, the Egyptian gods had human traits and could die. But when you're fully God, you cannot die. So this goes back to why they didn't consider us fully human, because we are part God. Remember the 2/3 rule? So in order to get to heaven, the Egyptians believed in doing good works. For instance, look at me, putting in good work. Even though I'm not getting paid like all the other creators, but I'm really doing that for a purpose. And that's to wake everybody up to this truth. But the Israelites believed they needed faith. For instance, you see all these people participating in an oppressive system and they know exactly what they're doing. Maybe they're getting all the money and getting all the riches now and seem like they're having a good life, but they believe the next life is going to be better for them, even though they're ignoring the fact that they're doing negative actions every single day. No matter how much positive you try to put on top of that, when you still do it, it doesn't matter. You're going to get all that negative energy right back, especially the ones that comes online and gaslight us on situations they help create. That is faith without works, basically stealing energy from others. Although there are some constants, such as enslavement through capture and war. Over the course of nearly 3 millennia of Egyptian history, the forms of enslavement and coerced labor manifested differently as the state underwent societal and economic change. I remember earlier I showed y'all the definition of a century, about 1,000 years, right? And I told y'all we're in the fourth world. These are the 3 previous worlds I was talking about. So basically they've been doing the same thing, but it just appears differently because the worlds are different. As I just showed y'all earlier, this world is a sets QV trust and their banking system, while in the new world is going to be the digital system, which is the metaverse if you fall for that psyops. But that's why I'm here, to make sure that doesn't happen. So check it, I'm going to repost a video I previously made called The Real Israelites. So you can have a deeper understanding on how they're literally telling us the truth in different type of ways. Like I say, they always tell us, but it's always in a deceptive way. Anyways, y'all know how to keep it. Y'all be guys. Peace. You already know when you see me, I'm about to make you think. So I'm about to explain my standing of the Israelites. I know this might trigger some people, but hear me out. I promise you it's going to make sense. So first of all, I'm gonna make this clear about the Bible, since I keep getting this comment underneath my videos saying, is the Bible a lie? My perspective of the Bible is that it tells half truths, which leaves room for deception. Meaning your perception that's created from society can deceive you when you read the book, because it literally teaches you good and evil, because we have free choice, meaning you determine what side of the book you want to take, and your perception will subconsciously choose for you. And this is why I say we've been in spiritual war our whole lives and we never knew it. So since the war started, we've been in an eye of Horus, which is the black hole sun. This is the only way negative and positive energy can exist with each other. The positive energy comes from man, from heaven. The negative energy comes from dragon, from the underworld. When we send out the black hole, there will be no more middle ground, meaning you're going to heaven or you're going to the underworld. This is the rapture that everybody's talk about. The reset, the gathering. It goes by many names. So check it. Man, the image of God, is a fallen angel with a full toroidal field with positive and negative energy, as in it's pure energy. The original humans was created from the blood of these fallen angels, but the humans came out differently, as in twins of negative and positive energy, and we call it male and female. The male is the positive energy, the female is the negative energy. Then those fallen angels mated with the human women, and these are the original humans on earth. Now these racial and ethnic categories are the Israelites. If y'all don't know what Israel means, here it goes. Is means Isis, which is Venus. Ra is the second creation of the underworld, the fire dragon, which is Mars. and El, which stands for the Elohim, which are mainly the grays. So I want you to ask yourself, how can you be Israelite if you existed before Israel? Notice how it says a person having origins of any of the original people, meaning they are not the original people, because they are not the original humans. These are the 7 races from the 7 planets that mix with the image of man. They are the Israelites because they was created in this black hole. They never been to heaven, nor had they ever been to the underworld. They are the ones getting judged because of the mixed genetics. Because as I said, they are stars, which are spirits that was created in here that shouldn't even exist. So man, who was the fallen angels of ancient Egypt, are the melanated men in America. This is why we're the only group in the whole world without an identity. The original humans are also melanated. These 2 groups of entities are not the Israelites. The hybrid humans are the Israelites. And obviously at some point we mix with them too. And that is why they said we sinned, because we created stars that should never have happened. Because that also allowed them to control souls. So I think one of the biggest deceptions of the Bible is them not mentioning the story before their story started. Because we'll know there's 2 different bloodlines here, and only one of those bloodlines is supposed to read that book because they really do not know the difference between good and evil. I mean, look around. People really don't know when they're being evil. It's like you have to program them to be good, because we're living in a world ran by Satan, and he's controlling people's perspective. So right here we had the Statue of Liberty. It represents the enslavement of mankind. The torch represents the fake sun that NASA has a patent for that's covering the black sun. So you don't realize that we are in the black hole. The 7 candlesticks on the head represents the 7 planets that took over, which is Neptune, Uranus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury. The chain on the feet represents how they bound our souls here in this dimension, and it sits on an 11-point star, which represents the tree of knowledge, and also the tree of life and death. And it also represents the kings of Edom. So yeah, a lot of our brothers believe they're Israelites. They out here putting in good work, don't get me wrong, but y'all need to understand that we existed before Israel. We were never labeled. They came through labeling everything when they quote unquote founded it. So yeah, man, y'all just stay woke and be guys. Peace.